Man, it is a busy Tuesday. A launch of a master raid, a bunch of various hot fixes to go over, and just being another Tuesday in general. So, the top of the list, starting off, first we have for the Wellspring attack, fixed an issue that could cause teams to incorrectly wipe on all PED difficulty during... I think PED basically means anything you pick. I don't know. It's hard to say what PED means. They reference it multiple times. I think it means master. But continuing until the final disruption of the phase of attack if they complete the objective with only a few seconds left on the clock. Added a failsafe to all carry objects in the ritual and boss phases so that they respawn in a reachable location if they are never picked up for 30 seconds. This should unblock the activity if somehow they spawn or fall out of bounds. So, as a failsafe, because they doesn't seem like they can fix some things spawning inside walls that aren't inaccessible, they just made it so that another will spawn in case they are, left on the ground for a while. For Altar Reflection, fix an issue where the Altar Reflection was not appearing, blocking players from completing Evidence Board Quest Report, Altar Reflect. Lost Sectors, fix an issue where rare/blue engrams were dropping from PED Lost Sector chests. Vow to the Disciple, a bunch of fixes here. Fix an issue where players could bring relics out of the exhibition area, so no Aegis during Rolk. Fixed multiple places where players could get out of the environment. Fix an issue where the Resonant Shard timer would not decrement, which I think is that glitch that gives you infinite time. Fix an issue with the Symmetrical Energy Triumph would trigger inconsistently. Fix an issue where Wolk would sometimes not transition back to his initial phase properly. That's basically post-damage, he would just stuck and you would be blocked. Fix an issue where one of Rolk's weak spots opened prematurely by depositing Eminent Force late in the encounter loop. Fixed an issue where the Caretaker could be permanently stunned from being able to deal damage. Fixed an issue where players could spread Leashing Force and charge it at the same time. Fixed an issue where the Caretaker's Dynamic Health Threshold UI would not consistently display for all players. So a bunch of fixes through the Throne World. Some cheeses fixed, various other quality of lives improved. So very great there. For the Throne World in Free Roam, fixed an issue where runes could appear before activating Deep Sight and couldn't be revealed again if player didn't complete the puzzle on the first try. Fixed an issue where a material node in the Miasma bubble was not appearing. Fixed an issue where players could duplicate the Resonant Charge carry object. That's basically the payload public event. Fixed an issue with available Lucent Executioners not rotating out of Fluorescent Canal. Fixed an issue with the Qualiker Pursuit auto-completing reward step. For Gambit, fixed an issue where stacking the Primeval Slayer buff also ramped up Super Recharge to larger than intended rates. Fixed an issue where players could spawn into maps early by killing themselves in the ready room. Fixed an issue where players could see an empty box next to enemy players' names while invading. This should now consistently show the enemy's player's class icon. Fixed an issue where placing the Titan barricade through an allied invasion portal could disable said portal. For the Psyops, fix an issue where revives did not award points for scoring, and fix an issue where enemies sometimes didn't spawn after entering the Dark Forest area. For Trials of Osiris, fix an issue where Adept Trials weapons were dropping for wins past 7 on a Passage of Confidence without first requiring a flawless ticket. Dev note, funny enough, this is the byproduct of something we've been working on over the last season to improve Adept weapon rates post-flawless, as well as help the flawless pool feel more rewarding, which leads us to the next patch notes. Once players have gone flawless in a given week, they now have a chance of earning Adept weapon drops on any Trials ticket that has earned 7 or more wins while the flawless pool is active regarding of loss counts. It resets weekly. For the UI updates, invites, updated audio and visual when receiving Fireteam invites, Bungie friend requests, and clan invites. Fix an issue where preventing clan invites from consistently showing a tooltip with the invite manager section of the roster. For the roster itself, updated visuals on roster nameplates to improve legibility, particularly when a player is using a nameplate with a bright background color. Added a new privacy setting, provide more control over who you may see your cross-save linked identities. That is a definite grammar typo. The share platform name setting may be found in the social preferences tab on the roster screen. Fix an issue where the player search would not consistently refresh info for a search player if they changed various social or investment states mid-inspect. For Dares of Eternity, fix an issue that was causing Dares of Eternity header UI from displaying game mode information during the intro cinematic. Fix an issue that was causing icons and the reputation tooltip to appear squished. Seals and Triumphs, I'm assuming that was supposed to be left over here. Fixed an issue that prevented seals from shooting when a triumph within them was available to claim. This could lead to situations where pagination button would show something was ready to claim on another page, but no seals would sheen when you change pages. Okay, whatever that was. Text chat. Virtual keyboard support is now available for console text chat. So, if you don't know what that means, basically, like for instance on the Xbox, if you added clicked on the board, this pops up. For me, because I have a keyboard, I can automatically just type in. But if you didn't have a keyboard, you would have to click on these one by one to actually type in something. I do believe that is what they go by basically saying they added that keyboard support. So basically, even if you don't have a keyboard hooked up to this, you will still be able to access text chat if something is drastically needed somehow. Updated text chat messages sent by the Destiny services to be more easily distinguished from local chat messages. Fixed an issue that could soft lock console players who attempted to send text chat whispers to other players. Whisper chat has been disabled for console players while the team investigated this issue, but is now re-enabled and available on all platforms. For inventory, updated the background color of the number indicator on weekly inventory item stacks that are full. Director increased the subtle opacity. That is the blur in my brain on tooltips within the director to improve legibility. Seasonal artifact increased the opacity that of mods within the artifact screen that are still locked to improve legibility. Miscellaneous updated the sword button UI to be consistent across all screens where it is present. Shifted the sword button upward to fill the space left by the removal of the shaders tab alongside the Witch Queen. For sandbox weapons, fixed an issue where the Eyes of Tomorrow rocket launcher was not tracking as intended and would sometimes kill the wielder when the rocket just didn't fly out and you ran into it, making it explode. Fixed an issue where causing the empirical evidence sidearm to be less stable than intended, as it has been updated to be closer to feel like the breach light sidearm. Fixed an issue where the explosive personality grenade launcher was displaying the wrong rounds per minute stat in the crafting screen. Fixed an issue where the adaptive munitions perk was no longer increment when the target had a weakened debuff. Fixed the damage bonus from the bait and switch perk has been increased from 20% to 35%, so possibly more worth it, because that already has gotten a buff after it was reported to be an absolute shit perk to bother. Fixed an issue where the Drifter would always give the stasis containment device from the stasis prototype quest after the quest is complete. Fixed an issue where immovable object and tilting and windmills had unclear descriptions. Fixed an issue where grounded sword light attacks off an edge can be looped until the player runs out of ammo, letting the player move long distance in the air. I think this is specifically for the Halo swords, half truths and the other half. So I do believe that is the sword fly that you were able to do with that I noticed that somebody said those were better because they could do that. That was apparently not intended. So whoever made that video saying the Halo swords are better because you could do that, guess what? Not intended, so you can't do that anymore. Halo swords just like every other sword. Fixed an issue where the Divinity exotic weapon had 2 kill tracker columns. For weapon crafting, adjusted enhanced chain reaction and enhanced field prep to provide benefits to more archetypes, because apparently they just didn't work on some. Added an additional deep sight resonance extraction option that focuses only on neutral element, in case you just have no need for that. Added a consumable item that allows viewing of element counts acquired from the relic conduit on Mars in the Enclave. Fixed an issue where the Father Sin's Wellspring sniper rifle didn't initialize the kill tracker as active on crafting the weapon. For armor, made adjustments to the physical melee scaler on Wormgod and 1-2 Punch to prevent high damage outposts. Hopefully, this completely removes the ability for Guardians to delete raid bosses in 4 shotgun blasts and 2 punches. We'll be watching for the next Mega Melt strategy. Bungie is always watching. So I believe that means Wormgod and 1-2 Punch now work together, so they might be powerful, but they won't be absolutely murdering raid bosses. Fixed an issue where Elemental Siphon mods for helmet armor cost Glimmer to apply for each armor elemental ability. Fixed an issue where Osmiomancy gloves lost a grenade after dying. Fixed an issue where the activator for the Exotic Hunter perk Voltaic Mirror could become perpetually enabled, so I think Blight Ranger is back. Fixed an issue where players could continue to block a few seconds after the Arc Strider Super deactivated while wearing Raiju's harness. Fixed an issue where the countdown for the resist buff perks were not synced with the duration of Dustfield Grenade. Fixed an issue where the shield throw of melee or void melee was not given the Fury Conductor buff for HCD-O feedback fence exotic. Fixed an issue where side-on mods did not drop at all. For abilities, fixed an issue where players could cancel Nova Warp's cast sequence and spawn the initial detonation blast without casting super energy. Fixed an issue where Devour would sometimes grant less buff time if multiple targets were killed very rapidly. Added aim assist targeting to enemy Axion Bolt's secondary projectiles to help players hit bolts that are chasing themselves or allies. So yeah, actually try to shoot Axion Bolts if you see them coming your way. It's a little bit easier now. Fixing issue where the Echo instability fragment was not activated by the initial explosion from Void Spike grenades. Fixing issue where players could remain invisible by timing a sword attack with invisibility activations. As well, fixing issue with the Hunter Ornament Nemean Strides, appearing twice in the transmod menu when acquired and equipped. For collections and customizations, a bunch of fixes there. Fixing issue where multiple vehicles had missing flavor text when viewing them from the details menu. Fixing issue where Prime Gaming entitlements didn't unlock the One of Us emblem in collections. For Ruinous Class and Paragon, they no longer appear twice in the shaders menu for some reason. And fixed an issue where the Reckless Engagement Shotgun couldn't be reacquired from collections after being dismantled. For clans, a general fixed an issue where players have clan banners going into their postmaster every time the went to orbit. I think there's a bit of glamour at somebody needs to check the typos in TWABs. There's been a bunch. Platforms and systems, PlayStation 4, background compatibility files now download at full speed while Destiny 2 is running. Miscellaneous. For general, several stability and crash fixes. Fixed an issue where seasonal pursued weapon ornaments were not available on the exotic archive vendor. Fixed an issue where exotic armor purchased from Xur had slightly different stats than advertised. Fixed an issue where the Rahul destination material options were not rotating with daily reset. Updated Vanguard ritual bounties to gate status effect bounties on matching elemental burns. For example, Void Burn should appear when the Void is a featured element in the Vanguard Ops playlist. Fix an issue where the seasonal challenge for Scorn Strike bosses could be incremented by completing any strike. And fix an issue where Vostok and Eternity Crucible maps were not being weighted heavily enough for Season 16. There is now a tip leading to the Bungie.net mental health page, or mental health help page. And lastly, for localization, for the French, fixed an issue where the flow, the metal emblems did not have text strings. And for Italian, fixed an issue where Vanguard Ops weekly challenge objective tooltips would overlap. So that is a bit of a lengthy hotfix, several fixes for quality, 1 or 2 fixes for buffs, and 1 or 2 nerfs. Because, you know, Axiom Bolts pretty much dominated the Crucible after they were given to all 3 classes. So now you can actually, you know, break them and break their little hearts when they find you're not missing half your health. And with that, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.
We live and we learn, we dream and we die. We stop being concerned, no chances keep on passing us by. We're looking up.